me, it was a very internal, external kind of experience from the beginning because I know Montzerrat since like last year or a little bit before, and it was very clear for me certain areas that Prisma was gonna touch. You know, the areas that they were interested, and the things that Mexico could offer. For me, it was a lot. I did a lot. I translated like crazy. I helped on administration. I did my workshop. I was part of it. I was there to make it happen because I was interested in seeing if we could actually do it. If I could actually be in a community that in my own country that I could make it work. Like if I start comparing with other people, with other festivals, I will like put a frame of expectation to Prisma, and that will have killed a lot of the experience, that rich experience that I had, because from the first day, even from the when they were planning, it was, you know, it's all about if we want to make it happen as a community of artists, and it was about them putting the space and for us to work, and it did happen. Like in different moments, different groups of artists just came up together in random places, and you see them, they were working new projects that were coming out. I saw a couple of groups like just getting together and planning a project for a year in advance or 2 years. They were already, so in a way, it happened what they wanted. I've seen similar structures in other countries, but for me, the fact that it was in Mexico, it changed it a lot. I proposed to do laboratory research, and it was basically, it was called Exmati, which in Nahuatl is know, or, and they translate it as knowledge, but it's more the action to know something. So basically it was to bring a group of people to this laboratory and to talk about their connections with each other and why they were in Prisma, and just to share it, to see what other different connections besides just being at a forum there were between us. So we'll all come together, and instead of like introducing ourselves by names and where we're from, I said, let's start by making notes and to agree how we're gonna put those notes together to create a map. And then we took 5 minutes to see that, and as a group we took a decision, how do we want to do another version of it that will help us know more. After the third map, the conversation just continued going back and forth, and it moved on from performance or dance. It wasn't anymore about that, it was more about like individuals, the idea of where you belong, if you belong to a place or not, and it was a variety of people. There were people from Mexico, people from different parts of Europe, people from South America. We all put a little bit to the questions, and also to clarify, you know, not be on a safe spot. You know, somebody will say an answer and somebody else will answer like, no, but also consider this, or also consider that. And for me, that was really rich. And at the end, everybody was like, whoa, surprised that they didn't thought that this could happen. You know, actually had a conversation that is not about showing some power or showing some knowledge or gaining territory, but just to be and saying, okay, here I am and you are here, and we can dwell in this space and acknowledge that we are the only ones. We're not the only ones here. So
tell me, what was the most significant thing about the experience for you?
Seeing people from Europe, seeing people from US, and seeing people from Mexico that I've known through different moments in my life. And there was this like surreal moment that they were all together. That is not only in me, that I have these different layers of information, but it's also, I could see it visually and in people's interactions, and I I was really glad to see that is like intersection of spaces and of knowledges and what does that produce. That for me was really interesting. Also the things that I've looked external from in other parts of like in Europe or in here in New York particularly, now they travel to Mexico and see how not only the dance community in Mexico react, but also like audience in Mexico, no? And what do they think about these performances in particular? One part that I was sad was to like not other artists not be able to communicate to local people because of the language barrier.
Were there pieces that translated their text or did program notes or were there like big sort of language lagoons?
There will be like for some, but I think other people did translate certain parts. It depends from artist to artist. You know, it was an artist decision, and also because you will never translate this thing. You know, it doesn't. It's hard. Although the events they had one of the best, you know, translators. They were amazing, but I do recognize that sometimes it's about the context, but sometimes it's also about the sound of the words, and it's not that much, you know. It's also how do you engage with that, you know? Is it you go to like understand the word that they say, or maybe you just open to other ways of perceiving language or sound. I don't know. It had always been exciting to go on and off, not only in Spanish and English, but with other languages. I was glad to be part of something that I sincerely never thought it was going to happen in my country, in Mexico. Not because it wouldn't happen or that I wasn't going to be there to see it. That was one of my, you know. So just by being there and just being open to what it was and what it was building and what we were building as a short-time community there, for me that was, I think, one of the best experiences. Different from other festivals, different from other situations, because of the beauty and excitement of Mexico. I think so. It's a very particular, and specifically Oaxaca and Mexico City. There are a certain kind of combination from like, and if you could call it very energetic, weather, food, all those, not even going to art or stuff, like just primary things. Just have your body engaged with that, it's a lot. So just see people that I have admired for years and have kind of been interested in their work and all that, in these towns in particular, which I love. And see just their body and how they react with the days. For me, it was that was one of the